Here we go. Welcome to TikTok Live. Have fun interacting with your viewers in real time. Creators must be 18 or older to go live. Yeah, I think I can safely say that. Remember to create a safe viewing environment and follow our community guidelines, which means if you say anything bad about our paid advertisers, you're gonna get booted. Okay, so let's get started. Alright. And the first thing we do is grease our pan. Alright, hello Crisco. There we go, all we need is a light coating. This way. So that we can lay down some parchment paper. Let's do this right, Charlie. There we go. So I can do this without tearing it. Okay, that's pretty good. Happens every time. There we go. And okay, so I have to preheat the oven to 375. Let's do that. Okay. Christmas crack, as they call it. A lot of people use saltines. A lot of people use pretzels. I'm going with the pretzels this morning. I wonder if it can be this anal. Yeah, you too. Here we go. Just like laying out ratatouille. Should be more impressive when played back at high speed, which is my intention. And of course, this is one of those dishes that are famous for being sweet and salty. You know, the sweet and salty thing is really a new invention, believe it or not. You know, I'm thinking like it was only about 5-10 years ago that the salted caramel thing became popular enough to show up in stores. Nobody sold salted caramel stuff, you know, candy, pastry, etc., until only that time. And then it exploded, and, well, Now that's what we have today. And I consider that a good thing, because yeah, salted caramel is wonderful. As you can see, rather than the usual sheet pan, we are using a huge, 15-inch in fact, cast iron skillet. Just to see what the rounded pattern is like. And that's also why I'm using the parchment paper, so that we can just simply take it out without any difficulty when it's done. Can I make this fit without ruining it? Looks like... Come on. See what we can do here. All right, that kind of fits. Comes row number 2. Yeah, it's like putting the pieces to a puzzle together, where all the puzzle pieces are the same shape. Pretzels. However, once the first row is done, the rest of it goes much faster. So, I mean, the second row is halfway done already. For folks with OCD, I hope this is ASMR. Because yes, I'm trying to use complete pretzels and not the broken ones. The broken ones will come later. Oh, that's good. This one seems to fit a little better. Now comes row number 3. Careful. There we go. Good thing these pretzels are cheap. You can buy a pound bag of them with no difficulty. Careful. I'm sure there's some mathematical rule as to the number of pretzels each row has. All I know is I'm just trying to do it so it fits. Come on, just stay down there. It only occurs to me now, maybe I should have done these things in opposing, you know, one row up, one row down. But rather than waste everybody's time, I will just stick with what we have. Oh good, the oven has just gone off. The oven has just been preheated to 375 degrees. Can I make one more whole one bit? Apparently yes. Come on. This down. Now I guess we get to fill in the cracks here. This is the part where people with OCD will scream. Do this right. But then again, it's all going to be covered. So I would rather fill in the cracks. Down the sides. I don't think we even have to lay this thing flat, since again it is going to be covered. That's pretty good. And no, I'm not interested in another spammer from somewhere in the Middle East. It always seems to be someone with a Middle Eastern name. And I am not saying that to be racist. I am saying that because it always seems to be someone with a Middle Eastern name. You know, the ones who try to join the live. Like another one here, Shah Sawar Khan, whoever he is. Okay, so that's step one. Now, that was probably the hard part. So, time now move over to the stove. And yeah, you get to watch that because this is a live video. In fact, let's move this down a little bit. There we go. Enameled cast iron saucepan. Desco-ware made in Belgium. Which means now we get to do part two. Heat up some butter. And it only took a few minutes to lay down those pretzels. That's not so bad. You're going to be doing 1 cup of butter. That is simply 2 sticks. As they say on TikTok, I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm high on crack. Especially since I just spilled some of that butter already. There we go. If anybody's high on crack, another one? Alright. Okay. Once this butter is sufficiently melted, we will throw in a cup of brown sugar. That's really all the ingredients, almost all the ingredients to this. Although I'm going to throw in a little bit of salt as well. Let me double check the recipe just to be safe. Alright. Okay, 2 cups pretzels with toppings. Alright, yeah, this is, apparently it's just as simple as this. Once this is all melted, we're going to boil it for, a couple of minutes at least. Allegedly, this is supposed to remove some of the liquid from it, although there isn't much liquid in this because this is really just milk fat. But yeah, this is the reason why I got a cast iron saucepan. Partly because I have a cast iron fetish, as anybody who looks at my channel should see. But also because it does a great job at things like melting butter. Well, cast iron does a great job at almost anything. Anyway, hello to the folks who have been kind enough to take a look at this TikTok Live here. I know folks are just simply scrolling around to see whatever catches their attention. So I hope this is interesting enough to stay for at least a few seconds. Especially since I'm not selling anything. No, I'm doing this for the heck of it, for the fun of it. I'm also not here to participate in this stupid religious debates, which are just shouting sessions, and political debates, which are even more shouting sessions, that seem to be taking up about 2/3 of TikTok Live. The other 1/3 of TikTok Live is, well, these days, people selling stuff, along with the occasional, let's just say, jailbait shaking her thang. Oh, it spilled it again. Age restricted. Your live may contain themes. Oh, good grief. You've got to be kidding. Apparently I said the wrong word already. Because it has now been age restricted. Don't you just love TikTok? Oh well. On the other hand, probably the fact that I'm calling this Christmas crack might be the real reason why this thing is age restricted. On the other hand, TikTok does have a rather infamous bot meant to filter out all the usual stuff, the naughty stuff and allegedly stuff that violates their community violations. I say allegedly because we know all too well what it really means is stuff that offends their advertisers. Still surprising, though, but nonetheless. You might also have all of these spammers here trying to join this live, which I'm not interested in. Anyway, all we're doing right now is heating up some melted butter and brown sugar. And we need to bring this to a boil, or as they say in jolly old England, bring this to the boil. At which point then, in fact, I think I will throw in just a little bit of salt. Not much. There we go. And you know what else I'm going to throw in? Just a tiny bit of vanilla extract. There we go. And no more than that. So I don't know what you'll call this, a vanilla flavored toffee, I guess? Anyway, once this is done, we will pour it over those pretzels, and that's going to be the real money shot. Then we bake it in the oven, but only for a few minutes. Again, the hardest part is simply bringing this to the boil. Once this is all done, I'm going to edit this video down anyway, so the audio is not that important. Yeah, it's probably because I said the wrong words that this thing was age restricted. Well, even so, that should be amusing. You come across an age restricted video, and what do we see? Somebody stirring something in a saucepan. Welcome to TikTok. In fact, one of my favorite TikTokers, Old Man Murphy, posted this video in which he criticized TikTok's community guidelines, and for good reason. Essentially, he showed this slideshow that suggested violence at a rock concert. I won't even mention the name of the performer, except to say that her initials are TS. He reported it, and TikTok said, "This does not violate our community guidelines." On the other hand, if the slideshow, instead of having a photo of a rock concert, if it had a photo of a hate rally by the Orange Cheeto, you better believe it would have been taken down. Because, yeah, that's what TikTok is like. Anyway. Sorry, folks, again, I'm just simply recording a cooking video. So, no, I'm not doing any dual lives this morning. I should probably, actually, it wouldn't be a bad one to do later tonight. You know, for the solstice and all that. Alright. What we just need to do, though, is wait for this thing to start boiling. I suppose stirring it like this probably won't help. Anyway, hello to all the folks who have been kind enough to join, such as Galaxy. Yeah, that's somebody with the TikTok username of Galaxy. And Linny. And Bella Roses. And hello, Rochelle. All of whom have been kind enough to join. I am in the not so exciting part of preparing this little Christmas dish, in that I simply have a mixture of brown sugar. Oh, good, it is starting to boil. All right. A mixture of brown sugar and butter with just a dash of salt and a few drops of vanilla extract thrown in. Yeah, this thing's supposed to come to a real rolling boil and everything, so we'll see how well that works. At which point then, we will pour it on. Now it's starting to look like it won't take much longer. Nice. And though, again, I don't want to burn it, so let's keep stirring. Just keep stirring, just keep stirring. P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Just keep stirring, just keep stirring. Probably won't have to do this how much longer because we have indeed brought this to the boil. Once again, this is why I'm glad I'm using an enamel cast iron saucepan. Certainly got it hot enough. And I definitely better be careful when pouring this. Melted sugar is very, very, very hot. So if you make this with your kids, keep them constantly supervised and be careful. Yeah, that's okay, good. This is getting warm, but it's not piping hot yet. Alright, and now for a little Tom Lehrer. Christmas time is here, by golly, disapproval would be folly. And I forget the next line already. Something about being jolly, fill the cup and don't say when. Kill the turkeys and the chickens, mix the punch, drag out the dickens. Even though the prospect sickens, brother, here we go again. On Christmas Day you can't get sore, your fellow man you must adore. There's time to rob him all the more, the other 364. Relations bearing no expense, I'll send some useless old utensil, or a matching pen and pencil, just the thing I need. How nice. It doesn't really matter how sincere, No, it doesn't matter how sincere nor how heartfelt the spirit. Sentiment will not endear it. What's important is the price. Hark the Herald Tribune sings, advertising wondrous things. God rest ye merry merchants, may he make their Yuletide pay. Angels we have heard on high tell us to go out and buy. So let the raucous sleigh bells jingle, hail our dear old friend Kris Kringle, driving his reindeer across the sky. Don't stand underneath when they fly by. Bum, bum, bum. And there we go. We definitely have this thing is definitely thickened, so it is time to go to the next step. Put this down to just low. Readjust the light once again. Bring you folks back here once again, because this is done on no budget. It's done live, and it's done entirely on one take. So that means, besides, I want to get a good shot of this. There we go. That's pretty good. And now comes the fun part, which means I gotta get out my gloves. Alright, here's this and that and this. Let's do it, shall we? Try to get the edges if possible. Ah. Oh yeah, I can smell it already. Okay, now I understand why you're supposed to boil it in advance. Definitely has that kind of a smell to it. Make sure we get everything covered. There we go. And that should cover it. Now comes the next step, which means we move the light over again. Bring the camera back over here again. Yeah, that's the thing about these cooking videos. We have to film every step of it carefully. All right, there we go. Now, into the oven. There we go. All right. And let's bring up the recipe, shall we? Because I don't have this memorized. Melt butter and brown sugar in a saucepan over medium heat. Bring to a boil and stir constantly for 3 minutes or until thick and bubbling. Cover a baking sheet in parchment paper. Nice of them to say that now. I made sure to do it first. Pour mixture over single layer of pretzels. Bake at 375 for 5 to 7 minutes. It is now 6:49, meaning that at 6:54 it should be all set. Remove pan from oven and pour melted chocolate over the top. Well, here's where we change things a little bit. Because this is the part where it's hot enough that if we pour the chocolate over the top, we will be able to spread it out, and then we'll just pop it into the oven for another couple more minutes. Saves the trouble, hopefully, of melting chocolate in a double boiler, I hope. And yes, so anyway, as we're waiting, as I mentioned already, this is an enameled cast iron saucepan, a vintage one that I was lucky enough to score at a flea market. Oh good, it's warm but not burning my hands. As I mentioned, this is a Descaware made in Belgium enameled cast iron pan. So yeah, I'm quite happy to have scored this, especially for only $10. There is a little bit of wear along the edge, but most importantly, the inside is completely intact. Also pretty clean, no staining, so that's nice. All right, 6:51 already, so we're already down to only about 3 minutes or so. Which means I'd better get ready to pour these chocolate chips. I have to cut this, okay. I'm going to try to be as prepared as possible. Cut here. Now between the molten caramel and the heat, that should be sufficient for us to be able to spread around these chocolate chips. Okay. Also means I better set this up. And I might even enjoy a couple of pretzels while we're at it. Hello again, Galaxy. You were here a few minutes ago. And hello, Lisa Thomas. Looks like 58. And hello, Brenda. Nice of you to drop by. Don't worry, we're going to have a little bit of a more exciting view in just a couple of minutes. Right now, this thing is in the oven Actually, I suppose, if you folks don't mind being jostled around, we can get a shot of what's in the oven. Except I can't quite get the angle of this thing right. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. This is not working. Once again, that's what I get for filming this thing on next to no budget. Fortunately, when I download and edit this, I'll take that part out. Even so, we're only at a little more than 1 more minute to go. And it does look like in the oven, it's hard to tell exactly, but I do believe it is starting to bubble, so that's good. Once it's all done, you're supposed to actually put this thing in the freezer. And I definitely do not have room in my freezer for a huge cast iron pan. On the other hand, it is 3 days before Christmas, 4 days. The temperature is low enough that all I need to do is cover this with foil and put it in the garage for a couple of hours. Alright, we are getting to that time because it is now 6:54. So, still can't get over that this thing was age restricted. Probably because the bots heard me speaking some naughty words. You know, the stuff that is supposed to never occur on TikTok, but actually happens every day. Oh, great. Hold on. Caught the cord. There we go. So yeah, if I have some not so nice things to say about TikTok, I would have to say those not so nice things are well deserved. Okay, tighten this up. All right, there we go at last. Okay, time to bring it out. My glove is back on. Oh yeah, it's definitely bubbling all right. That's good. There we go. That means while this thing is still hot, I need to stop talking and start pouring on the chocolate. That's enough. And I probably used almost a pound of chocolate there. And let's see what happens. If need be, I could always, oh, hey, you know, I do believe it's working. One thing I can do is pop this back in the oven again for maybe another minute or two. What is this? Did something, is there? That's, oh, I think that's a piece of, is that a piece of caramel? Okay, well, I'll put it aside anyway. All right. You know, it does look like it's working, but if there's any doubt, as I said, I could just pop it back into the oven for about another minute. Which I think I will do because even though it looks like it's melting underneath, it's not melting on top. So, actually, let's throw on a few more chocolate chips. and then into the oven it goes. Whoa. All right, now that we've done that, gloves again. Back into the oven. Be right back. Okay, well, welcome to the solstice, everyone. Today is the shortest day of the year. And it's true because here in New York, it is 7 a.m. and we're only just beginning to get some light in the sky. So the sun won't be up probably for another half hour or so. After this, the days start turning longer again. Yay. The twilight of the year. Alright, I only need to keep this in for a few seconds longer because all I'm trying to do is heat up those chips. Definitely not burn them. Which means I'll just enjoy another pretzel. Okay, and let's bring it back out. I can smell the chocolate already, so that's a good sign. Let's do this fast. There we go, that's what we wanted. Spread the chocolate around. Yeah, there we go. Trying to cover as much of these pretzels as possible, especially along the edge here. All right. Okay, now that we've done that, the last step okay, pour mixture, remove. Okay, so now at this point, here's where we put on the toppings. We're already at that point. Nice. Okay, that means but come on. How am I supposed to share this if you won't even let me open it? Seriously. Ugh. Enough. Not even wasting time here. Oh, with it. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not doing the Christmas M&Ms that are only red and green, because for the same price you get a little bit more in a bag of regular M&Ms. There's one. Now, number two. Now for time for number three. So yeah, I guess that's why they call it Christmas crack. I'm decorating this like a guy on crack. Finally, hope I can do this one right. I've had these in the freezer for whatever it's worth. So, it's my countertop. I can do what I want. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Something got underneath here. Yeah. And finally, well, let's see if that works, as I hope it does. Hey, it works. Nice. And I guess we would call this the coup de grace. There we go. Behold our Christmas crack. I am going to take this and put it in the garage. Well, I'm going to cover it with foil and put it in the garage. And thank you to everybody who has been kind enough to watch, if anyone, since TikTok has age restricted this, largely because I said the wrong word. Oh well. TikTok can shove it as far as I'm concerned. I'm not selling anything. I am not trying to make money off of this. I'm doing this for the heck of it because it's fun. So thank you everybody for watching. I'll take a couple of good photos, then cover it with foil, and into the garage it goes. Thank you very much. All right. Have a good morning, everybody.